It's Tuesday, our favorite day. So welcome back. I'm glad you came. We are finishing up our book fair this week. We started it last week, and this week is our last week. So if you go to my school, if you're at Wilkerson, Friday at 11:45, we are shutting this thing down because we've got to pack it all up so it's ready to go. So you need to do your shopping in the next 2.5 days. But there are plenty of amazing books in here to purchase. One of them I wanted to tell you about that I read recently is Wildfire. It's about a boy who, well, and a boy and a girl, but the boy was at camp and they knew there was a fire in the forest, and so they were evacuating. And this boy forgot something, and he snuck off the bus to go get it. I wonder if you can imagine what would be so important that he would have to sneak off the bus to go get. So when he did that, the bus left because they thought he was already on the bus. So now he is stuck in the middle of the forest that is on fire, and he has to figure out a way to save himself. And in the middle of that, he meets another girl who actually snuck out of her camp for a different reason. And so the two of them are now working together to try to survive. It was great. It was one of those books that I just really didn't want to put down. I stayed up a little later than normal reading this because it was fantastic. So that might be one you want to pick up. And I also wanted to tell you there are different lists in Texas of great books to read. One of them is the Bluebonnet list. That's for grades 3 through 6. And we also have the Lone Star list. I have a printout that I keep in the library that's front to back of the Lone Star books for this year. I will tell you, the Lone Star list is 6th through 9th grade, so there are books on this list that we don't have in our library. They're more appropriate for another school. But we have several of them, and I want to tell you about a couple. So Not If I Save You First. I read this over the summer, and this was another one that I did not want to stop reading. This is by Allie Carter, and it's about a girl who, her dad was a Secret Service agent, like the head Secret Service agent in charge of protecting the president. And she was the same age as the president's son when he went into the White House. And they were young. And so they were best friends because they were together all the time. And then something happened where the girl's dad she moved them out into the middle of Alaska in the middle of nowhere. I don't know what had happened. I guess her mom must have passed away, but she was just her and her dad. So they live in the middle of Alaska, no technology, no TV, nothing like that. It is rugged out there. Well, she didn't hear from the president's son for a long time. He never wrote her back. He just quit all communication. And then suddenly she finds out, for some reason, he is being sent out there into Alaska to stay with them for a while. She doesn't really know why, but she is mad. She doesn't want it to happen. He's not real happy about going. But they learned some really hard lessons about survival in Alaska in the wintertime. It was suspenseful. There was adventure. It was great. Ghost Boys is another one. This is by Jewel Parker Rhodes, and she wrote Towers Falling, about the Twin Towers. This one I think is done so well. This is about a boy who was killed by a police officer. The boy was black and the police officer was white. The police officer saw that he had a gun, but it was actually a toy gun, and the officer thought that he felt threatened by the gun. He didn't know it was dark. So it's told from 2 points of view. So it's from the point of view of the boy who was shot, and you also get the point of view of the officer's family. You can kind of see everything and how the whole story plays out and how this death affected so many different lives. And I thought it was a very, very good book to help us see different perspectives on things, because often we pick one way that we're going to decide something, and it doesn't matter what happens. That's the way we're going to decide. And sometimes you just need to hear everyone's story, all sides of the story. Anyway, it was fantastic. The Parker Inheritance is about a girl who, two kids, but Candace found a letter in an attic at an old house where her family members grew up years and years and years ago. And this letter is giving her clues, and she can tell from the letter that there's something very important she needs to find out. And when she finds this out, there is a big fortune that is at stake here. But also, there were some wrongs that were done to people back around the Civil War era, and they were never really taken. I mean, nobody ever really absolved anybody. Nobody really settled anything. And so I thought it was a great mystery. If you like mystery books, it was a great mystery, also adventure. It's $2 for this paperback. I think $2. I mean, I'd read it for $2, even if I didn't know anything about it. Okay, Resistance by Jennifer Nielsen. I've probably talked about this, but this is also on the Lone Star list. And Jennifer Nielsen is all I need to say. And you should read it. But it's World War II about a girl who is Polish and Jewish, and she is trying to, she really is risking her life to help save other people from the Nazis. Storm Runner is another book. It's if you like Percy Jackson, this is about the Mayan gods. So if you like Percy Jackson, that's probably one you would like. This is about survival in North Korea. I think it's North Korea. I believe it's North Korea. Yes, North Korea. And I haven't read it yet, but this is one I absolutely want to read. First Rule of Punk and the Black Panther, The Young Prince are also here. There are other ones that we have. I just didn't pull them all off the shelf right now. But if you don't know what to read and you're trying to find something, I have lists all around the library of different things you might want to pick up, and try picking up one of those lists and seeing if there's some book on there that maybe you think, oh, I might try that. Looks like something interesting. Or maybe it's something you've never read before and you just want to branch out a little bit. I think that would be great. So last week of book fair, and I will talk to you next Tuesday. Have a great week and read a lot of books.